in. From the 31-yard line. Morton with those speedy receivers, Allworth and Hayes to the right. Hayes out of the backfield. He comes with the screen to Dwayne Thomas. Thomas fumbles the football.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, I mean, whew. Big news yesterday. Russell Wilson. I guess I can't overly shocked. You know, would have been nice if they did. I guess the Giants really weren't much of a position. I mean, financially wise, we had the draft picks, but you know we have no team, so you need to try to get a team with the draft picks. So, I mean, that's why I brought up this little video here. So it kind of, kind of took us out of the Russell Wilson sweepstakes for this year. Now I'm saying, like if he was going to be with Seattle like next year, like Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers, we might be in the sweepstakes because we're going to go over. We're quite possibly going to have maybe like $100 million, baby, yeah, salary cap next season, not this season, next season. There's a way we can. Okay, Russell Wilson, my God. Broncos gave up 3 players. Noah Fant too. Wow. Three players. I mean Drew Lock. I hope they're not. I hope Seattle's not trying to win a Super Bowl with Drew Lock. I mean, woo. Okay. But they got 2 firsts. They got 2 seconds. They got a 5th. And Broncos got Russell Wilson and a 4th. I don't know how to figure this crap out, but so the Giants want to go over how the Giants possibly next season, could maybe enter into the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes if he were to pull an Aaron Rodgers like he usually does after seeming like almost every year. The season's over with, and it's like, he just signed a nice little extension with the Packers, and they just gave him a boatload of money, like $50 million a year or something, whatever it is. But, it doesn't matter. It's like at the end of every year, he winds up losing in the playoffs, and, they ask him, they don't ask him about the game, nothing like that. Just, so what are you doing next year? That's the first question. They don't ask him anything about the game. What happened to the game? You okay? What you retiring or So that's the first question. Pretty much after he loses in the playoffs every year to the 49ers, that's the first question they ask him. What are you doing next year? And then it starts. Then it's like you turn it on General Hospital, and it's as Aaron Rodgers turns. Every day, what's Aaron Rodgers doing? What's Aaron Rodgers tweeting out? What's Aaron Rodgers doing here? Aaron Rodgers said this. Does this mean he might be retiring? He might be going to the Lions. Every year. So, possibly, maybe next year, if Daniel Jones is not the answer, all right, we don't have him, and we're looking for a quarterback. Now I can see like with Russell Wilson because he's 33. Now, if he wants to play for a while, he can have another 10 years. If he goes from 33 to 42, that's 10 seasons, right? Maybe the Broncos gave up maybe 3 players and 4 draft picks. I'm going to 2 firsts and 2 seconds. But they got Hall of Fame quarterback for possibly 10 years, which is what is what they did with Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning had a better team around them. Peyton Manning only played a few more years. That's he was at the end of his rope, So but Russell Wilson. They got a nice little defense. They got some good wide receivers. So they were what 7-10 last year. I think they were 6-10 the year before that. Basically they need somebody on offense, and they got themselves Russell Wilson. So, but they also massively got themselves a Hall of Fame quarterback maybe for 5 to 10 years. Toughest position to play in all sports, and the Broncos got themselves a Hall of Fame quarterback. So now the thing is, with the Giants is that if they were to and retain Aaron Rodgers next year, whatever. Might only have him for a couple years because he's, I think, 39. So if he's 39 here, if he's going to play, might play for another couple years. So if the Giants were to pull a trigger and maybe trade away some draft picks to get him to come in, right, and shell out a bunch of money to him, might only have him for a couple years. Like what the Broncos did with Peyton Manning. He was only there for a short while. Might be the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But in 2023, the Giants have basically about, according to Spot Track, have like 26 players signed. They have, according to Spot Track, they got more. All right, but the thing is that I'm not totally thrilled to death about. Is that they got Daniel Jones on there, and they got Dexter Lawrence on there as well too. That they have them underneath their 5th-year option. So they haven't presented a 5th-year option yet. So I don't know. The thing, I'm like a little, where does I get Dexter Lawrence here? According to Spot Track, 5th-year option is $10.7 million. They're going to sign him for get a 5th-year option, 10.7, and then if you're going to sign him for 10.7, Dexter Lawrence, wouldn't it make sense that after that you're going to give him a contract? What's he going to want? Maybe 12, 13. I don't know. Just throwing numbers out there. Maybe 4 years, $50 million, $12.5 million. Is he worth that much? 12, 13, 14, $15 million a year? First year, rookie year, he did good. Maybe Adoree Patterson, the godfather of the defensive lines, can maybe get him. But they have to offer him his 5th-year contract before the season starts. It's not like halfway through the season. It's like, well, Dexter Lawrence is playing pretty good. Let's offer him his 5th-year. No, you got to do it before the season. So the way he played the last couple of years, is he worth $11 million? He got 3.5 sacks last year, I think. The run defense was not very good. I don't know. And then I said, and after that, if you offer him a 5th year, you're going to give him a contract where you're going to pay him 12, 13, 14 a year, $1 million a year? Did his play last year warrant that much? I don't know. But then they also have Daniel Jones in here. His 5th-year contract would be $22.384 million. So, but I took them out. All right, so because they haven't signed it, I can't see him wanting to give Daniel Jones a 5th-year option. I think he's got to prove it. So basically, the Giants have 26 players signed for 2023. Right? Obviously, they need to add like 25 more players to make 51, because the top 51 contracts is what goes towards your salary cap. Anything after that doesn't go towards your salary cap, right? So only the top 51. All right. So now, basically, what I'm going over here is there's no Daniel Jones on this list. There's no Saquon. Although I'm saying we're going to have money, we can sign Saquon, but there's no Dexter Lawrence on what I'm going over. Okay, James Bradbury's gone. Blake Martinez is gone. He'll be a free agent next year anyway. Now, the Giants will have money. They can re-sign him if they want. They can re-sign Saquon Barkley. Give them maybe about each one maybe around $10 million a year. That they could do if they wanted that. So the salary cap on Spot Track, they got it for $218. I'm not going by that. I keep hearing $228. So I'm going by $228 million. It's $208 this year. I keep hearing 208, 228. I hear it. Some people even were saying into the 230s. I'm going with 228. All right. So the Giants, the 26 players the Giants have signed for 2023 next year is 130. They have $130 million worth of contracts on the books. Okay. I said this is without Daniel Jones, without Dexter Lawrence, without Saquon Barkley, no Blake Martinez. All right. So that means that the Giants have about $98 million. All right. Salary cap. Next year, all right, they don't have a quarterback, all right, but hopefully maybe that's where Aaron Rodgers comes in at. So this year they're going to be possibly adding maybe about $40 million, all because that's what Shane is trying to clear. He's trying to get maybe about, so I'm going, he's going to get about $40 million worth of salary cap. Sign some players and the rookies and all that. And so I'm going to add the $40 million onto next year. Right? They're going to whatever the salaries are, we're just going to carry them over to next year. All right. So then they're going to draft about 8. I saw they have about 8 picks next year, 2 7-rounders. That's what I was saying. So those picks that they're going to have next year is going to add maybe around another $12 million or so. All right. So you got the $40 million that they're going to be adding this year. The $12 million in their draft picks next year are going to be adding. So that's $52 million. All right. So the $52 million that they have, plus the $130 they already have assigned for next year, that gives them $182 million spent on the salary cap. Okay. Now they needed they need 51 players. They have 26 players signed already. They're going to get 9 more with the draft this year. They're going to sign a few free agents as well this year. Then you have like another 8 picks next year. All right, so they're going to have up 45, 46, 47 people altogether. If they add all their draft picks this year, okay, if they all make the team and they just go there, and then obviously all the draft picks from next year make the team. So next year, they'll have like 45 players or so on the roster. They only need to add a few. But that's, once again, they're going to have about $100 million possibly of salary cap. So they'll be able to add plenty of players with $100 million, right? So now they have $130 million salary already dished out for next year. Then there's the additional $52 million. There's the $12 million on the 2023 draft. Then there's the $40 million that they're going to come up with this year, right? So that's $182 million, right? So the salary cap next year is $228. They'll have $182. Okay, that'll leave them with $46 million left over. However, Leonard Williams next year is due $26.3. You let him go. There's an $8.3 million dead cap hit, so you save $18 million. Kenny Galladay's due $21.4 next year. His dead cap is $10.2. That's going to sting a little bit, but if you let him go, you save yourself $11 million. Adoree Jackson, he's due $16.5 next year. Dead cap is $4.5. You let him go, you save $12 million. Logan Ryan's due $12.2 next year. You let him go, it's a $3 million dead cap. You save $9.2 million. Sterling Shepard, his salary is $13.5 next year. Now, they're asking him to take a nice size salary cut, or they're going to let him go. All right, so if he says yes, all right, I'm saying he'll going to go down maybe around $7 million. Guys, he's coming off a major surgery. He gets injured all the time. If he wants to stay here, all right, we'll bring him down to $7 million. So that's another savings of $6.5 million. So if you slice Sterling Shepard's contract, right, and bring it down where he saves some money, he's saving 6.5. Leonard Williams is saving 18. Kenny Galladay's 11 million. Adoree Jackson, you're saving 12. Logan Ryan, saving 9.2. That's an additional $57.7 million that you're saving. All right, so we had 46 left over, right? Because we had 228, the salary cap for next year. We're bringing in 182 million, the salary. Now these are 46. You cut those other players, that's 57.7 million. That gives you $103.7 million for salary cap for next year. Okay, so now can we kind of put ourselves into the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes for that? Quite possibly, but as I said, once again, we have no quarterback. I mean, Davis Webb, maybe we bring him up from the practice squad, but he's only going to be making so much. To fill out your roster, there's undrafted free agents. You got the draft. You got if you got $103 million, you can bring in a lot of free agents. Not that's what you want to do, but you certainly have the you'll have the money to do that. And I said, now, every year, at the end of every season, Aaron Rodgers just starts, well, I got to think about what my future is. I got to this, I got to that. Yeah. Right? Maybe the Packers get a little sick and tired of that. Who knows? Maybe they want to just trade him and let him go, because next year, especially if the Giants stink, they're going to get a high draft pick. There's a lot of good quarterbacks out there. So this would be another one of the things the Giants could do also, would be if they let Daniel Jones go, they can draft a quarterback in next year's draft. But this video is about trying to get Aaron Rodgers and a future Hall of Fame quarterback in there. That's what this video is basically about. All right. But I'm saying, could you imagine with Aaron Rodgers, with Dable's offense? It could be pretty special. Now, I said, in the draft, we could draft a tight end maybe this year, maybe in the third round. There's third, fourth round to be some nice tight ends. There's no Kyle Pitts out there. There's no Jamar Chases out there. Okay, but there's some nice tight ends out there. I said we'll have Kadarius Toney. We have Sterling Shepard. And if you want, we can even sign Saquon. I said maybe around $10 million if you want. If you wanted to spend $10 million on a running back, which you really don't have to, but right. Plus, I said you can draft another wide receiver this year, next year, for every year, forever. The way the offenses are in college football, there's going to be wide receivers, boatloads of them. All right, it's basically whatever flavor you want. So you could pick a good wide receiver in the second round, the third round, the fourth round. So you can add weapons. Both drafts. Get some more offensive weapons in there. Some wide receiver, as I said, where you can draft a decent running back in the third or fourth round without question. So obviously we're going to need a couple offensive linemen too, because you're never going to be able to pull Aaron Rodgers here if our offensive line is like a sieve. But as I said, what I'm kind of hearing or looking at, is that we might possibly go maybe defense with the first two picks, which would wind up leaving you with the second and the third pick, third round picks. Offensive line, maybe a tight end. Especially if we're going to let Evan Ingram go. So that one might be wind up doing. I'm kind of getting the feeling we might wind up going defense the first couple picks. So we'll have to wind up saying. But I mean, we got Andrew Thomas. You maybe in our free agency this year, maybe you bring in a guard or something like that to put in there. So now and maybe we can use Shane Lemieux still. So maybe you only need maybe 2 offensive linemen, maybe 3 at the most, and you grab a couple in the draft. So maybe you might only need 1 more offensive lineman. You can certainly maybe pick them up next year if worst comes to worst. There's a lot of options out there, obviously. But I mean, we got the problem we have is Matt Parrott. I think it's like ACL reconstruction or something like that. So he had surgery. Shane Lemieux had surgery, obviously. Nick Gates had surgery. So, I mean, we got guys coming off of surgery. You got Ben Bredesen, Wes Martin, Andrew Thomas, and Devery Hamilton. Those are the only 4 healthy guys. I mean, I think Shane Lemieux should be bad. He should be pretty much healthy because his surgery was not that demanding. All right, but I mean, we don't have many guys at all. I mean, so I'm not telling Joe Shane anything, yeah, like you don't know, but we're going to be bringing in some offensive line. Hopefully, I said maybe we can get 1 guy, maybe 2, maybe in for free agency. But I said in the second or third round, look for us to draft at least 1 offensive lineman, if not 2. But I mean, if you can get something like that where you get the offensive line, and yet you still have some weapons. If Aaron Rodgers wants to, play, whine like a little baby like he does every year, the Giants next year will have the draft capital. We're not going to have 2 first-round picks. But I mean, you can do kind of with the Broncos. We'll give you this year. We'll give you our first and maybe our second. Next year, we'll give you our first and maybe second, or however they work it out. But then also, you bring him here, and we'll actually have the money to pay the guy. We couldn't do that this year. We couldn't do that with Aaron Rodgers. Couldn't do that if we were going to do it. We couldn't do it with Russell Wilson. Really couldn't do it with anybody. We couldn't trade for a guy. We have the draft capital. We got 2 firsts, and we can give a first for next year and all that. But we have no team. You're bringing a guy in basically with no team, for the most part, a weak team, all right? And he's not taking us to the Super Bowl. You're not going to bring Aaron Rodgers in here. We're going to win a few more games. Yeah, sure. We're going to the Super Bowl? We're going to Super Bowl, Russ Wilson? So, I mean, we really don't have the money to pay him. And we have the draft capital, but we need to build a team to make it, appear, want the guys to want to come here, right? So I mean, if you the guys, they're at the end of their career. They want to win. They're not. Aaron Rodgers ain't going to come here just to make $40-50 million a year just to wind up in last place and get sacked 75 times in a season. That's not happening. He's going to want to come here, make his money, know he's going to be protected, and know he's going to have a chance, possibly, to win a Super Bowl. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time any day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!